We had a song back in 2009 to 10, whenever we were recording the War Stories album, called Paupers and Princes, and we had it at the end of the album. It never quite sounded complete. It felt like there was pieces of it that weren't there that should have been. And we started working on this, and we knew that was going to be a part of this.
To put that song on War Stories was a bit of a stretch. The version of that's on War Stories is much more commercial, I guess. Like we kind of stripped it of its original intent, which is really this rock opera. It wasn't when I wrote it. We didn't know we were going to do a rock opera. We didn't know that it would be okay to create that kind of King's Court type of a vibe that it has now on the rock opera. But we liked the song, and I wrote that in 2007, as I had said before, around the same time as Come My Way. We just never knew what to do with it. We finally made a go of it for War Stories because we felt like it kind of was a nice climax to that album.
Royal King is a song that we used in our last album called Paupers and Princes, and it was the closer, and it has kind of an epic quality to it that we didn't really nail it on the last album. In my opinion, it was really written for this album, although we didn't have a concept yet. So it has that kind of feeling to it, like you're in an old time, in a historical time, and so we tried to make it sound more like people in a town coming together and singing when Christ arrived on the colt into Jerusalem. It has that feeling of excitement to it, so we used it for that.
But we really kind of went and wanted to capture exactly how it should have been from the get-go with this album. It made a lot of sense, obviously, being the triumphal entry story, to include it. And that song was really important to set the stage for what the rock opera would become, which is the emphasis on Jesus being the King of Kings. And that song, that was mainly Nick's contributions as far as the revamp. I had always wanted it to have that kind of bouncy feel that it does, but we kind of revamped the structure of the song, removing the first chorus and doing the verses back to back. The Dove and the Melody contributed and sang beautifully on that. And just really, the beginning just starts off very delicately, and it builds to the end of the song. From that point on, a lot of those elements are the same of what you hear on War Stories. A lot of the instrumentation is actually identical. We just remixed and mastered it to be more conducive to this album.
The song became what I really feel Jeff envisioned it when he first wrote it. This very epic, very, very big sounding song. Very theatrical, and I think the orchestration to it is really good.
But that song was fun to see it kind of come alive the way it always was intended to be, and it obviously plays an important role in the show overall.